welcome to Travel Tuesday Happy Hour, where we interview dope people doing dope things from around the world. And today I want to talk to you guys about Season 2. Season 2 has been an amazing experience. We've gone literally around the world and then back. And so I really hope you guys enjoy the show. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and you know what? Go ahead and click that notification button so that you'll know when the episodes drop. Alright, peace.
What's going on, Travel Fam? If you ever thought about starting a podcast, check out Anchor. Anchor is free. Anchor will provide you tools to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast to multiple streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Everything you need right in one app. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I felt so good there. I felt home. It was nice. I obviously enjoy all the mojitos, daiquiri, everything possible because it's more natural than in Europe. They don't put like extra sugar. Yeah, exactly. They do it in front of you.
That's why it's Travel Tuesday Happy Hour. We got like no red stripe here.
Yeah.
Welcome to Travel Tuesday Happy Hour, where we interview dope people doing dope things from around the world. And today we have an amazing guest. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Christina Beloge. I'm French Caribbean, so originally from Guadeloupe. I was born in Paris. I live in London since 12 years. Live also in Amsterdam and in Germany. So what do I do? I'm a marketer. I'm actually a social media marketer since 8 years. So I work on your favorite brands, on advertising on all social media platforms. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so that's why.
So how do you live in multiple places? You live in France, Germany, and Belgium? So
no,
it must be
Germany
nice.
and Amsterdam.
Germany and Amsterdam.
So basically, it started... I was born in France. I think I've lived in France until 25. So I've studied in France and in UK. Then I think 8 years ago I did like pivot my career. So I went to learn social media marketing in Germany, and that's where I got headhunted and moved around. It helps basically. It's just because the discipline is very look after. In the sense it was new and there was not so many people knowing how to do it, so everyone wants you, so there you go. So yeah.
Nice. And so what was your first time traveling experience like? What got you to traveling? Was it work?
So yeah, a mix of work, school, because in France we used to do discovery trips. So I think my first real travel were in England and in Amsterdam. My parents used to take us to Guadeloupe every 3 years, but that's like compulsory family thing, you know. It's different.
It's still travel.
It's still travel, but it's different. You stay at your grandma and, you know, you watch the dog and the cow, so it's different.
Listen, my first trip was to Haiti, so
yes.
I tell everybody this trip, and I was about 6 years old, but I was a 6-year-old that had no like concept of the dangers around you.
Yes,
you know, when you go home, they tell you to stay with the family. I was running around the streets, having fun, enjoying life.
No, we had the dog, so it was watching after us, so that was cool.
There you go.
You know, because or else we get in trouble, so it's true.
So discovery trips, explain that a little bit, because we have study abroad here in the United States. Is that similar to that?
No, it's a bit different. It's more like an organized trip where there's a theme. So because I used to be, I think, in a science class, we would do science-orientated visits, you know, and a bit of culture. So I think it was a long time ago, so I don't remember everything. But it's more like you go in families, you discover the culture, then you visit like science museum and historic places for 1 week or two. And then it helps you, let's say, to get to know the world a little bit. Yeah. More, let's say, your neighbors. And then I think I really traveled through work when I started my career, because I used to be a business developer and my boss sent me everywhere. So send me Germany, send me to the US, Seattle and New York. So Seattle for me was a big discovery because it's far, far away. It was my first super long trip. It was a 10-hour flight, I think. And what happened there? Yeah, I was jet lagged the whole week, basically. So I really had sleepless night in Seattle. So there you go. And it was, the weather is like in here. And it's also a very funny city because it's the city of Starbucks and Microsoft. So it's very corporate and it's very fun as well with the harbor. The same, I went to New York for the first time in my life for work. And I organized, I remember, a whole week of meeting. Yeah, traveling for work was a big adventure because it was my first time in the US for both years. First year, my boss was playing stingy, so I had to stay at a friend, in a hotel. And I was like, I organized the whole trip meeting from 8 to 6 in New York, planning without never been to the city, right? So Google Map was my best friend. So, but something I didn't know is when you come out of a station, it's not like in Europe, you have to walk 4 blocks, right? So I was late all the time because it takes 25 minutes to walk. I was like, what is this? But it was good fun because my friend was taking me out every day. So it was really like Sex in the City in the sense I was having meeting from 8 to 6 and then going out to 2 every night. I was like, wow, this life is
That's
fun.
why you were late, not because of the distance, but because of being out till 2:00 in the morning.
Out every night. For her, it's normal. And I was like, how can you do this lifestyle every day?
Right.
It's the city that never sleeps. Yeah.
So do you remember the first trip you were excited about that kind of led you to wanting to travel?
Yes. 6 years ago, I started to do a lot of solo trip. My first one was to Cuba. I always wanted to Cuba because I've learned Spanish and I'm passionate about the culture, and we all know how to dance salsa for our parents. But more than that, it was like I felt so good there. I felt home. It was nice. I obviously enjoy all the mojitos, daiquiri, everything possible because it's more natural than in Europe. They don't put like extra sugar. Yeah, exactly. They do it in front of you.
That's why it's Travel Tuesday happy hour. We got a nice little red stripe here.
Yeah, I don't have my mojito.
And don't you have a mojito? There you go.
I have my fake travel mojito. But no, I really enjoyed myself. It's the first time I drink pina colada on the beach. They do it for you in the pineapple. So you keep the pineapple, then you eat it. And I was like, wow, that's life, man. That's life. It's just the vibe, the people, and also I guess because I'm Caribbean, they were giving me extra alcohol, extra food everywhere I go. So obviously I enjoyed myself. But it was fun because just before that, I went to visit my cousin in Canada and I fell sick actually. So because it was minus 20 and then I did plus 30. So it was a lot.
That's a lot of difference.
Yes. So my body fell sick in Canada and then I arrived in Cuba and I felt great. I was like, wow, yeah, I've survived because this is what we're used to, right? So, and I remember seeing Viñales, all the historical site, going to, how do you say, a cigar farm. So learn about this, go to old Che Guevara city, see the train.
So let me ask you a question. So American history and European history, clearly two different. Most of it is the European history over to America, but what was Cuba portrayed as to you guys in Europe? Because was it seen like this communist country where everybody is poor and the
No.
country is just outdated.
Run
Because
down.
when I went there for the first time, I was like, this is nothing what they explained it to be or described it to us as.
No, for us in France, especially in Spanish class, we focus more on the political impact they had, because we learn about the Che and I forgot his name, the other one who died.
Castro? No, is it
Yeah,
Castro?
Castro. Yeah. We learn more about the political impact they had on the society, so their own society, the fact that they liberated. Um, we don't, because in Europe we're not at war against communists, remember. So it's different perspective. We don't see them as let's say red witches. We more admire, especially being French, we are passionate about revolution, etc. So we see them as an example of liberating your people. It's completely different. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you feel like you learn from your trips when you travel?
Um, so I guess you get confidence the more you travel solo, because it means you need to plan everything, but not really plan everything. Because the best thing I've encountered was anything not planned. Like when I solo travel, usually I do excursion, and that's where I meet people. Sometimes they get me to visit places I didn't intend to, and they are the best surprise. I would say what you learn is organization, confidence, finding your way around. Because sometimes when I talk to people, I discover new apps. I think there's map.me, which is good because you can find your way without internet. Very practical in countries you can roam because you can't roam everywhere, right?
You can't Google Maps everything.
Yeah, you can't. Either they don't exist or internet is too expensive. So you have to find a way. So someone got me that tip where you download the map first and then you can have it offline. So you learn confidence, finding your way, being adventurous also. So try new things, new foods. Um, like I remember going to Brazil 3 years ago and thinking the little Brazilian I've learned would help me, and I got it totally wrong. And I got the wrong food. And the waiter just got annoyed and he was pissed at me. And I was like, I'm allergic to this, actually, I can't eat it. And then he was like, because I'm European, I said I wanted salad. He looked at me like, wanted to kill me. I was like, what? I just want salad. It's too hot. It was 36 degrees. And in fact, Brazilians love pasta and rice and heavy stuff. So, that's life. You learn when you're there.
Okay. So, what keeps you traveling? What's that one thing that tells you, hey, you know what? I want to just continue to explore and discover new and different cultures.
So I think 5-6 years ago, I had this like haha moment where, because I came, basically I became, I wanted to know about other Black nations. So I tried to visit as many as I could. And I was wondering, I wanted to see and be inspired and see um, how different Black people evolve in different society, basically. Um, and what do we have in common also? So that's why I went to Cape Verde, Ghana, Brazil, because I wanted to know what kind of heritage we have in common and what prevents us from going forward as well. Because I thought, especially Haiti is the first nation or the first free nation. So I was like, why are Black nation or independent one not much far ahead? So that was my quest. My quest was to research the heritage, meet people, see what we have in common. Because when I went to Cape Verde, it's like Caribbean. It's exactly the same. It's an archipelago.
Well, at least with Haiti at least with Haiti, the one thing we learned was, you know, when we got our independence, which we just celebrated on the first,
Yeah, happy
one of the
Independence Day.
hindrances was the thank you.
That, yeah.
One of the hindrance was financial and
Mm-hmm.
imposed by France. We were paying
I
France
know, I'm sorry.
reparations for gaining our independence.
I
Oh, it's
know.
not your fault. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I was
But
not born. Yeah,
you know, you
exactly.
but
Sorry.
but as you can see, certain
Mm.
um, colonizing nations put
Mm-hmm.
things in place so that some of these freed nations cannot succeed or
I'll
thrive.
never be
In
freed. I
addition,
know.
exactly, and so there's always a financial bind that keeps them from
Mm-hmm.
being able to grow and
And to be
be a larger
themselves.
part of the world economy. Right, right,
That's what I
right.
understood. It's the same for Jamaica. That's what I understood recently. Because this year we really saw a lot of things and we had time to be more attentive to things.
Mm-hmm.
And because, there was the floods and everything, I was shocked because I was like, we're 2020. How come Jamaica needs to do an appeal for? In here, we did a big appeal for shoes and
Mm-hmm.
clothing because the flooding just killed most of places.
Right.
And I was shocked. I was like, no island should be that like that.
I
So
agree.
yeah,
I agree. Okay. And so you
it's our
mentioned that you travel.
history. It's our
Right. Right. You
hmm?
mentioned traveling solo give you confidence. As a woman of color,
Mm-hmm.
when you're traveling, how safe do you
Yes.
feel? How safe do you feel? Right?
so
How safe do you feel going
so
to these different countries? I mean, you mentioned Cuba.
okay.
They treated
So
you almost like a queen. Extra alcohol, extra
yes,
food. You know
definitely,
what I mean? So how does it
definitely.
feel moving
It's not
around
everywhere
as a woman
like
of
that.
color?
It's not everywhere like that. As a woman of color, I think it depends where you go. When I know I will not be totally safe, I prefer to do tour group.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Morocco, because when I've been there, it's not for women. I mean, it's not that it's not for women, but it's a country where you only see men outside. Let's say like it like that. So I was like, oh yeah, let's do a tour, and then I was like, I couldn't have done this as a solo person. I wouldn't have survived as a woman. So now eating and all those things, those behavior, no. Um, I would say as a woman, I tend to have my tips. So I would take either Airbnb or hotel, for example. So be in a place, only stay in Airbnb at women's, for example. That's my key safety. Um, Not going too much at night alone, obviously, unless I've met people and I trust them or, friend them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, be worried, not being like, I don't want to say an American tourist, but don't have like, we don't have any more cameras and flashy stuff. So if you tone down, I would say
Right.
tone down and fit in. I think that's the best. Tone down, fit in. There's
Okay.
places I've been assaulted because I was a black woman, but I ran away, and it's in Europe too. So
Wow.
there's just some, let's say, southern countries will still have a stereotype on what a black woman is, and they heavily flirt with you, but it's not flirting. So I had to run away. You go. I had to run
Wow.
away.
Okay.
So it does still happen. It does still happen. Or even when I was in Washington, I was in front of the White House and I was surrounded by a group of Chinese tourists and they start to touch my hair. And I was like, oh God, oh, calm down. You know, but I've been in Japan and nobody touched my hair. So you see, it depends on the custom of the people. It's just
Right.
people greet you, like kids greet you, say hello, hello, because they were happy to speak English and see a black person. Um, but I think I used to have fear to go in places I know where it's blatant racism or discrimination. I passed those fears. Sometimes you're surprised. Uh, People will treat you better, but because they know you're foreigner. Because even in
Mm.
Cuba, I've seen it. I've seen the discrimination in one restaurant, and I didn't go there because they made me wait 15 minutes. And when I went to the top, I only saw like rich American, British, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not eating there because the way they treated me, I'm not gonna, patronize them.
Oh wow.
because I saw they made me wait 15 minutes and then they were looking at me up and down. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not angry anymore. You know, you
I
know.
completely
Um,
understand.
but you have to, it's how you feel. It's the same. I have this thing wherever I go, I fell on a racist person. So I don't know. It's a bad luck thing, but it was like going to Florida. My Uber driver was like, I think, a Trump advocate. And first thing she tell me, she spied on everybody, like Cuban, Haitian. And I'm like, don't you see who I am?
Wow.
Yes. And she was like, yeah, don't go there, don't go there. People are cold. Oh, those one, they're drug addicts. Oh, those one, they're this, those one, they're that.
Wow.
And I was like, and I always fell on someone like that, either a taxi driver or Airbnb person. And I'm like, don't you see who I am? But they don't.
It's crazy.
Oh, they think you're in a lie. I don't know. They just confide straight away their blatant
They're
racism.
comfortable. They're
Yeah.
comfortable with just expressing it.
Yes,
Wow.
they're comfortable. So I'm just listening, and then I'm like, I won't refer you.
You don't get 5 stars. If I could give you
Yes,
0 stars,
yeah,
you'll
you
give
will
me
get
0 stars.
0 star, my friend. Yes, exactly.
Right, right.
So,
So you mentioned earlier that you had to learn you were kind of forced to learn about Jamaica during the
yeah.
pandemic because we
Mm-hmm.
were kind of forced to sit down. You
Mm.
know, where were you when the pandemic became a big deal to the point where we had to shut down the world?
I was still in UK. My only luck is being French. We are allowed to go to our country, so we had some motive. At the beginning, I stayed, I think, 3 months. Then every month, I was trying to visit my family because here it was really, how can I say, bleak. Like everyone was avoiding themselves. My neighbors, I say it's a game, but it's not a game. People were shutting doors. No one wants to see each other in the corridor. It's the first time in my life I had this. It was very weird. Everyone speak 5 meters apart from each other. One of my neighbor got it, and nobody told us. It's just I knew because my landlord sent cleaners, and they start to scrub my door. And I felt like in a Night Shyamalan movie. I felt like in Science. It's true.
Right,
It was like
right.
shh, and I was like, I was paralyzed, and for 3 days I stayed in bed. So that's to
Wow.
tell you, because it was like sci-fi, surreal. It's the first time everybody avoid each other completely, and so no one speak to each other, no communication. Only what you can see was the news and how many people die or get it. So it was very bleak and depressing, and I guess so that's
Yeah,
why
especially with France being
Mhm.
a very friendly place to visit. Everybody's,
Yeah.
I went to France a couple of years ago, and
Mm.
it's welcoming to an extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so to go from casual conversations to,
Mm.
all right, mon ami, mon frère,
Yeah,
au
no,
revoir,
I
peace.
know that was in UK, but in France, it happened even deeper. It's more
Mm.
policed, and you have to sign whenever you go out, self-declare yourself. So it's very much different. Here we were kind of free because at the beginning I've heard a lot of people illegally were doing COVID parties, right? COVID
Mm-hmm.
barbecues, right? So a lot of things happens here. But at the
It's
very,
still
very
happening here.
beginning, yeah, I know. It was everyone for themselves. And then it was like, okay, let's let loose a bit during summer. And then October, November, we had another lockdown. And now we have another one for 1 month and a half.
Mm.
So it's like we keep on having waves. And especially, I think right now we've been told we have a new variant. So it's like, oh, yeah, it mutated. So it's really like a sci fi movie because you feel like, okay, are we safe? Are we safe? No, we have to
Well, look,
run.
I pointed out to my friends the movie Contagion was too far
Yes.
close to what's going on right now
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
believe that Contagion was discovered in China as well. The
Yes.
bat
There's a lot
and
of
the pig farm.
similarities.
Right, right.
There's a lot of
So
similarities.
it's as if they knew it was coming, so they were warning us via movie,
Mm-hmm.
right?
because growing up, we used to watch all the sci-fi movie about contagion and this pandemic, and I used to laugh about them. And when you leave it, it's different. You don't want to. You just want to
Exactly. Exactly.
escape or stop. You know, get out.
So
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that
Mm.
during the pandemic you did a lot of learning, right? Like,
Yes.
how
Ah,
did you
yes.
adjust with how
So,
did you adjust with the lockdown to keep yourself from going insane? Because you're a traveler,
okay.
like I'm a traveler, right? And
We all
so
are.
one
It's
thing
very
you
hard.
can't do is
Hmm.
leave. So what
Yes.
were you
We were
able to
stuck.
do to maintain your sanity?
So to maintain my sanity, initially I was lighting candles. There you go. Then I was like, it's true, literally, as my mom used to say, to keep the spirit away. But yeah, um, and then I was trying to do meditation and yoga, but I gave up after 1 week because we were restless. We could not sleep. I think no one could sleep. Everyone I was talking to, we all had sleepless nights like for 1 month because of the anxiety and not knowing what was happening. And then I said, okay, you know what? Since I got out of contract, I was unemployed for 6 months. So I say, I might as well level up and learn new things. So I registered to a few courses in group traveling training, organization, in money management, in learning how to invest. I think, yeah, on the stock exchange and also mutual fund, all those things. I did motivational training, all those things to keep me up and chirpy. And also, it actually helped me to meet a lot of people. I joined a few WhatsApp groups, Black owned business. So it all triggered in me the fact that I want to start something also. It kept me busy, it kept me learning, it kept me dedicated because I needed to have a sense of schedule, um, either through self-learning or having group meeting every week. Because the thing we were really suffering from was social distancing. I think it's the worst word ever, you know, because that's why you realize you feel like in jail at home. It's horrible.
Right.
You understand the people who are in confinement, you know, when they put them in isolation. Now I can understand how it feels because you have to be home. No one, you text your friend, no one wanted to reply. I've never seen that. Even I say, oh, let's meet in the park. It's allowed. No. Okay. Okay. So that's where I've discovered the power of WhatsApp. Hey, the power of Zoom. But at some stage, Zoom gets you down because watching the screen but not experiencing someone, you see what I mean? It's very cold. So that's why I've decided after 3 months, I said, okay, if I have opportunity to go to France, I need to go to France, see my family, because it
Hmm.
gets me crazy that no one wants to talk to me, see me. It's weird. It's too weird.
Right.
Uh, and first thing I've done, I went to France. I hugged my nephew. I was like, yay! I love you so much. You know, you're the only person in the world who wants to hug me. So,
He doesn't know any better.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. It's to tell you.
So, so with that being said, you know, were you moving around between Germany and France,
Mhm.
or where were you? Okay, and so what
No,
was
no,
that
no. I
experience
was
like?
I was in London when the
Okay, London.
yeah. I've lived in London now for the last 7 years. Yeah, 6, 7 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. And
Mm.
so, do you feel as though that France is a lot more restrictive than London
Yes,
as far as the
definitely.
social distancing? Okay.
Yeah, I was there for Christmas, New Year, and we have a curfew in place, so it's from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. You're not supposed to go out, or else you get fined and stuff. And even I was with my cousin in the park, and the police came out of nowhere and kicked us out. So I felt very strange. I was like, "What? It's 4 p.m. Hello, hello, it's 4 p.m."
Wow.
And they just whistle at you, and they're like, they evacuated the whole park. So they don't want to see people gathering at all. So it's
Got it.
very, yeah, it's very tough. Mm.
Interesting. And so, you know, that's how you're able to adjust.
Mm.
Now that these vaccines are out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of people are hoping that the vaccine allows us to get back to a normal,
Yeah.
right? So when our normal hits, everybody's gonna start going out traveling.
Mm.
Prior to COVID, what was your normal, like? Let's say somebody that looks like us, a young person that looks like us, is looking to travel. What
Mm.
would have been your tips for them?
So I would cite the example to my younger cousin who's 19 who asked me that actually. She was like, how do you do to travel so much? And I was like, okay, let me show you. So I show her from A to Z how to plan, go search for the flight on research motor, blah, 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 I won't cite name. And then do a budget in a spreadsheet. And then what else? Research if you need a visa or not, those practical little things, and vaccination. If not, and it's closed, then go to see low cost flight if you can. So I was trying to point her to the real small tips, basics, because she's 19. She's studying fashion design, so she needs to go to shows and stuff. So she was like, "Oh, show me because I want to be like you." And I was like,
Right.
"Yeah, you need to research, plan, and compare. Yeah, compare."
Mm-hmm.
So that you're sure you
Okay.
have the best
And
deal.
yeah, because price matching, because a lot of places will do price matching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's the same in Europe, but here you have the option of payment plans for your flights and your hotels now.
That's
So,
great. We use mostly credit card, I think, for on our
okay,
side. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So now, I mean, it's pretty much a credit card. They
Yes.
allow you to pay for the trip in an X amount of days,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps people pay for their trips over time. So
Mm-hmm.
now that was your ideas before.
Mm.
What is now your tips while in COVID?
So while in COVID, I would say book direct with the airline to have a flexible ticket. Because of the current restriction we have, especially in Europe, it's like every 2 months we're in lockdown. Nobody know and can plan for 6 months or 1 year. That's very weird. So it's best to, I would say, if you book accommodation, book with cancellation free. And if you book a flight, don't go through an OTA. Go direct to the airline. Have a flexible ticket so that you can move it around. Because not all of them will refund you, but at least they will offer you, I think, open booking, which is good. So you don't lose everything.
So what about as a solo traveler? What tips would you have there?
As a solo traveler, yeah, I need to get those boots back. um, Alors, as a solo traveler, what I love is to research the destination and a few things I want to do. So I usually go actually on other travel bloggers and spots. I don't really go to TripAdvisor. I don't like to follow the masses. So I prefer
Okay.
to try to see what, let's say, people like me or non-people like me go to do to have some inspiration. And I will kind of prepare, maybe it's because I'm a marketer, I will prepare a budget with activity price, activity cost. Um, and then, because there's only one time I did a last minute trip. It was to go to Mexico and Florida. I booked everything 2 weeks before to go. But then,
Yeah.
because I've done that, I went through travel agent and compare to have the best price for flights because it was last minute. And it
Mhm.
actually worked because normally I don't go through travel agent thinking they take commission, it's too expensive. But this time I had better deal through them than if I would have done myself. Like I think if I've done myself it would have been 650 and I pay 350 through them. So I was like,
Nice.
"Tan
Nice.
tan, I'm Mexico, I'm coming." I was like, I'm ready to escape with be on the beach. Yes, yeah.
Okay. So from now, like I said, when outside opens up, what
Mm.
would be your first five destinations?
So, because I'm organizing trip with my new company, so what do you say? The first trip I will go to is Brazil. So I want to, how do you say? Actually, it's a tour about heritage, Black heritage. So we're going to Rio and Salvador, which is the most black populated city, 70%. and it's called, I think, the Black Rome. So they have lots of ancestry, especially Yoruba one. And they still have the culture, the Orisha celebration. So they're it's an immersion. It's at the same time adventure with hiking, I think, drum playing, but also learning about the heritage, going to the market and going to the beach. And there's some, I think, day trip on one island. Yeah, two islands actually. One in Rio, one in
Okay.
um, Salvador. So it's gonna be cool. It's Rio, and if I could, I'd like to go to Cartagena as well by myself for Colombia.
Cartagena is really nice.
Yes, because I've seen lots of cool picture. Also, my nephew is half Colombian, so I want to check out his part. Yeah.
Nice. So you just mentioned what you have going on for this trip to Rio. Where can people find information about this trip, and tell us some more that you may want people to find out about?
Yes, so I've just launched Melanin Travel Magic, so www.melaninTravels with a S magic all in one word .co.uk, because we're based in UK. So you can find more there. We have 2 trips this year, so one in Rio and Salvador, and one in Ghana. So because last year I've been to Ghana too, for the 2 years ago actually. Now I should say, oh my God. For the year of return. And that's where this idea came from, because I partner with one of my local guides on it. It was a magic moment. That's all. It sprinkled all this, because it was the whole diaspora in one place celebrating. It was great. It was magic. No, I remember partying every day in that crowd, but it's another story.
At least you didn't have to go to work the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was good. It was different, because I was like, this is like Miami or Ibiza. This place is working. It's like every day.
Yes. It was a party
magic.
every night.
It was magic.
Yeah.
Went to Afrochella.
So tell us once again, where can people find you?
Yes, sorry, I need to be good at this. So you can find us on either Instagram at Melanin Travels Magic, on our website www.melanin one word travels with a S magic.co.uk. There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just it froze the bit, so I was like, okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it's freezing. Okay. So I don't know if you want to add more. It's just the screen is freezing. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
There we go. I was losing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one more time, where can people find you? Yes. So tell us where people can find you.
Another one. Okay, so you can find us on www.melanintravels with a S magic all one word .co.uk. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I really wanted to say thank you for doing this.
No, thank you for the opportunity.
Obviously, internet. Right. Yeah. Obviously, internet connection issues. We weren't able to do it yesterday, but today we were able to do it. And it stuck around for a little long. So
thank you.
I am honored, thankful for you doing
this. I am grateful. Thank you for the opportunity. For me, it's like a dream. Everyone is coming to ask me things, and I'm like, wow, what's happening? So I'm happy. Thank you. And I've listened to the other episodes, so I was like, this is actually cool. So it's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Another dope conversation. Keep traveling and stay safe. Until next time, Peace.